Welcome, everybody, to the lending report for the week ending November 15th, 2024. Quiet week, all things considered, but that certainly didn't stop the bond market from reacting, our MBS markets. We'll start with mortgage applications, though, showing purchases up 2% in terms of activity, but refinances down 2%. Not surprising that it's slowing a little bit because interest rates continue to not budge. We're not getting a lot of leverage with shorter interest rates. We get a little bit of movement, gain some traction, and then we take a couple steps backwards. Initial jobless claims, those filing for the first time, down 4,000 and continuing down 11,000. Probably the bigger news this week, aside from retail sales, would be CPI report. We did get that out for the month of October. Now, the Feds do round out to the 10th. So these numbers, it doesn't look like we saw a lot of change just because they do round to a 10th position. So even though we were at 2.6%, or 2.44% previously year over year, they just rounded to 2.4. So we're not seeing many gains in the CPI report, which I kind of expected. And we did talk about that several months ago, that as these numbers play out, we do our look back, there aren't a lot of promising numbers to work with at this point in that year over year analysis. So we're going to look like we're at a plateau here for probably a couple of months now, which was anticipated. But you can see within this report some of the things that have come up that are impacting the report. Always shelter, because shelter is such a large component of the core number. But airline fares continue to be up. Used car sales continue to be up. Motor vehicle insurance still high. We did see some improvement in those numbers, but still making up quite a bit higher year over year, which does impact our numbers substantially. Now, we did get retail sales this week, and it did show for the month of October that it was up 0.4%. The big news, however, being that September was revised up from 0.4% to 0.8%. That's huge, big number, showing that retail sales are really, really strong. So yes, consumers are still spending money, but nobody's talking about the fact this is going on debt. So it's not like people just have tons of money to spend. Most people are probably spending out of necessity. They need to buy goods. We got to eat. We got to have food on our, clothing on our back. We got to have shelter. So costs continue to be high. Consumers are certainly feeling the pain. They are continuing to spend, but I feel like it's more out of a necessity, and I don't feel like the Feds are really paying attention to that. And as a result, the Feds have kind of walked back their verbiage on what they were going to do in December. It seemed to be a foregone conclusion that we would see another short-term Fed rate cut in December of at least 25 basis points. They're walking that back now, saying the economy looks pretty good and it might not be necessary, and they might not need to lower those short-term rates as quickly as anticipated. So it is probable that we might not get any rate cut for December at this point. So let's take a look at the market. This is the 10-year Treasury at this point. You can see this continues to go up, 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 and up. Not really what we want to see. The market has not done us any favors this week. These last 3 days have been relatively steady. It's kind of staying status quo. We've seen just a few adjustments, but again, it's that situation where we make one gain, but then we take a step back. So rates a little bit level at the end of the week, but we did have some regression at the start of the week. So that is where we are right now. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I do appreciate when you like my videos. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the economy at this point. But otherwise, have a great weekend. Enjoy it, and I will see you next week.